Hello everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. Hope you're having a great Friday out there. Today I want to do just a quick news update. We're going to look at some photos or a short video of the dam flooding, the Kherson flooding. Pretty horrible situation going over there. Then we're going to get into this counteroffensive. Did it start? Did it not start? Did it fail already? It's basically a big fog of war, information both sides, have different stories. And then we have a new press release from the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, the White House, and we'll hit that at the end. But let's really quick jump into this video really quick that shows some of the before and after shots in the Kherson region. So I'm going to play it here real quick for you. You can see that's the dam beforehand, obviously. Then we go, that's how it looked after it broke. Here's the before, some countryside, probably on the left bank, and look at that destruction. Gone, everything gone. Here, this is definitely the left bank. A lot of agriculture there, gone. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Widespread destruction, widespread loss of life, livestock, farmland, all that stuff. Here, I'll play it again while we can watch it one more time while we talk here. So, people are still arguing over who did this, who didn't. Of course, once, Ukraine says Russia did it, Russia says, obviously, Ukraine did it. One thing we do know, though, that upstream, Ukraine controls 5 or 6 more dams, and the closest one to this one had opened their floodgates, letting out a ton of water. You would think Ukraine would restrict the amount of water coming out of that dam in order to lessen the amount of flooding downstream, to lessen the amount of land that was flooded, even in the Kherson on the right side of the bank. But no, it looks like they increased it. They are increasing the flows downstream, which makes the flooding worse, which kind of almost points to the fact that Ukraine did this because they could control that. Now, would water back up on the upstream side of those dams? Yes, but it would alleviate some of the damage until the water levels dropped. So we'll see. Maybe they're doing it to keep the water level high enough to keep the nuclear power plant in Zaporizhzhia going. I don't know, but it's just very suspect. So that's what we have going on there. Write in the comments below, where are you leaning? What do you lean on? Who did this? Why they did it, all that, since you had a couple days since my video 2 days ago on this initially came out, and just like to get everybody's thoughts. What do you think's going on? Also, please like, comment, and share the video. Let's get this out there. I really appreciate everybody that's liking and commenting so far, building the community. It's really great. I love interacting with you guys. And let's go to the next story here. Let's see. Let's scroll up. This is from the Zero Hedge. We have a confirmation. Russian destroyed their first Leopard 2 tank and Bradley fighting vehicle. So this is, this is a prize for Russia. The U.S. and NATO were touting. We're sending the top of the line of our equipment, and it's going to help this counteroffensive. We're going to destroy Russia. And Russia's like, hey, we already mowed these things down. We're not worried about it. It's great to tell their population, hey, look, doesn't matter what NATO sends. We're going to destroy it. So let's look at this really quick. It says here, Russian forces have just destroyed their first German-made Leopard 2 tank. Video and photographs have emerged showing the destruction of that and some Bradley fighting vehicles. If you look at this really quickly right here, you'll see it's small, but I'm going to play this, but there's Bradley, and this is the tank that was destroyed. So close together. And we're going to see in a minute. No one travels like... they're supposed to be trained by NATO when they started this offensive, but this is very poor training if that's what happened, because you're traveling way too close because artillery took you all out. And if you look at this video here, you can see this is artillery barrage going down. And, it's going to show it again here, I believe. But, when you're that bunched up, artillery, you're easy pickings. You got these drones these days. I don't know if you think you're hiding behind these trees here from advancing forces. But, drones these days, they can call for fire. They call for indirect fire from above. And you're not hiding from anything. So when you travel this closely in a line like this, you're just asking to get mowed down. So I'm not sure what happened. If it was just a failure on the officers, the command in this part, or poor execution by the soldiers, but not good at all. And then you can see this. It even says here, the Leopard 2 and other armored vehicles were traveling in an uncomfortably tight column. Yeah, no kidding. And here's the picture of them being destroyed. Look how close all these vehicles are together. Could they have moved closer together after they're hit? Yes, but that's ridiculous. This one little, what is this, 100 feet, 200 feet, and you got 5 vehicles, plus a mine plow, some mine plowing equipment. That's the dumbest thing ever. So maybe this counteroffensive isn't going so great. And if we go over here to RT, which is obviously Russian, basically propaganda, you're going to see here that Kiev lost thousands of troops and dozens of tanks in one day. They're going to put this out, of course. It says 1,240 troops, 39 tanks over a 24-hour period, reported by the Russian Ministry of Defense. Are they going to up those numbers? Are they going to pump them up? Of course they are. They're going to do that for morale for their troops, their country, all that. They also said 30 infantry fighting vehicles, more and more, all the stuff they said were destroyed. Going on, Putin today came out and said a few things about this. So let's see what Putin's response is to this. It's supposed to be a quote. So we'll say a quote here. We can state with absolute certainty that this is the Ukrainian counteroffensive. It has begun, and the use of strategic reserves points to it, meaning the reserves on the Ukrainian side. They said heavy fighting was going on for 5 days or so. He also claimed that the Ukrainian military has suffered far heavier casualties than the classic 3-to-1 ratio expected during an offensive. So what he's talking about is everybody in military training strategy knows that when you're on the attack, you're on the offense, you're going to sustain about 3-to-1 losses, or you need to have numbers 3-to-1 to the defense, because that's how easy it is to defend against an attack. You either need to have a 3-to-1 superiority, and you can also expect to lose 3 times as many men, equipment, and all that. And he's saying it's much worse than that. Going on here, we have the Russian leader also acknowledged, though, that Moscow's troops are facing shortages of modern weapons, and expressed hope that the country's military industry will soon be able to satisfy the growing demand. Is this true? Is he just putting that out there as a feint? The old art of war, appear weak when you're strong. He's telling them we're out of advanced weapons when he has tons of them. Is he just trying to kind of light a fire under his military-industrial complex to say, hey, pump this out more because we need more? I don't know, but found that very interesting that he put that out. Now, if we switch and go over here to some Ukrainian propaganda, this is Ukrainiform. It's going to be very heavily Ukrainian form. They have a much different opinion. It's going great. It says the enemy fails to advance in 4 directions and suffers losses near Mariinka. Russian troops made futile attempts to go on the offensive in Lyman, Bakhmut, I'm not going to pronounce that next one, and Mariinka directions. And the enemy suffered losses in that area as well. So they're talking about the losses they suffered, how Ukraine's doing well. Like I said, this goes on in war. One side says they're doing great, the other side says they're doing great. It's probably in the middle. What's odd about this war, we have hardly any information coming out except drone footage of vehicles taken out. We don't have reporters on the ground. We don't have embedded reporters that we hear from, so we really don't know what's going on. And in Ukraine, they put the word out, the big shush, campaign they had that, if you film or you send anything out, that you're going to be punished, especially martial law things. So we're not getting a lot of actual information. Lastly, we have here this is from Kiev Post. They're talking about the latest evidence that the Ukrainian counteroffensive has begun. It says, since Sunday, June 4th, the Ukrainians have been hitting Russian positions on the southern flanks of Bakhmut and have made advances up to 1,600 meters. For those non-Europeans or don't know, that's about a mile. It is a mile if you're running it, but yeah. So they said they advanced a mile. What's a mile? Not much, but they're touting it as a success. So they've made a mile. And it says also, Ukrainian units have conducted operations against Russian positions in occupied western Zaporizhia Oblast, including 15 kilometers south of the city of Orikhiv. So Ukrainians said they're doing well. The Russians said they're doing well. I don't know. Losing the tanks and Bradleys, that's a win for Russia. And it's a loss for Ukraine. We'll see what happens. But the last story, Biden's got a solution for this, of course. And if you lasted this long, hey, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Hit that subscribe, that bell, and anybody else, hit a like if you've gone this far. Let's see. Biden administration, what did they announce? Well, we just passed the debt ceiling, right? We got $4 trillion to blow the next couple of years, so why not give more to Ukraine? And that's what they're doing today. So today, the Department of Defense, this is from the defense.gov website, they announced they're going to give $2.1 billion more dollars worth of equipment and training and whatnot to Ukraine. Why not? Give them everything. What are they giving them? Well, we'll go down here a little bit. Additional munitions for Patriot air defense, because the airplanes and the cruise missiles are, they're knocking everything out in Ukraine. Hawk air defense systems, so heavily on the air defense. 105 and 203 millimeter artillery shells I'm not sure why there's no 155 millimeter. That's interesting. I think those are coming from Korea. That's why they're not in here. Puma unmanned aerial systems, so a lot more drones for them. Laser guided rocket system munitions and support and training, maintenance, blah, blah, blah. What else? Probably a bunch of other stuff. But 2.1 more billion going there because, why not? And, the offensive probably isn't going as well as they thought, so we really need to pump it in there. And like I've been saying since January when the Abrams were announced that F-16s will be coming, there's talk and rumors and murmurs right now also from some NATO countries that we need to send troops and put, NATO troops in there. So that'll probably be happening because, hey, once you have the F-16s in there, might as well send some troops. And at that point, why don't you go ahead and move a couple tactical nukes, into Ukraine as well and just, really ratchet up. So it's not slowing down. That's the news for today. We got a counteroffensive that has started. Both sides says it started. Stalemate to a loss for Ukraine. We'll see. Will there be another big event to draw attention away? There's that dam collapse on the same day as the counteroffensive. I don't want to say a collapse. It was a dam destruction, basically. So war's, it's ratcheting up. And you're not hearing a lot of is China, Taiwan. It's taking a back seat. Yeah, you're hearing, the Chinese ship cut off the American ship. Their plane drove in front of another plane. We got some incursions, but, no rampant war drums beating over there. That's the normal stuff for what we're used to these days. I think China's really waiting for this counteroffensive to get going. So a lot more NATO and U.S. equipment, gets used up. Heck, China just saw today that 2.1 more billion is going to Ukraine. That's 2.1 more billion they don't have to worry about when they go after Taiwan, which they will. So that's all I have for you today. Hope you enjoy this weekend. Get out there, do some planting, gardening, prepping, training, self-defense. Do some fun stuff with your friends and family. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.